fallen in love with camping. Who'd have thought it? Not on a campsite, no. I'm talking about wild camping, you know, back to nature. Even though I have wild camped for quite a while now, I still sometimes worry about the usual stuff. You know, will I get caught? Will I get attacked in the night? Will I freeze to death? Will I wake up to a fox sniffing my head? Or a slug slugging it up my neck? Will I even sleep? If this is the stuff that puts you off wild camping, even though you quite fancy it, then this episode I'm going to try and help you out. Because honestly, so worth getting over the fear. Let's do this. What's the appeal for me? Blooming fun is what it is what it is. You know, if I pick the right spot on the right day, I can wake up to a beautiful sunrise or have dinner looking at a beautiful sunset. Both. Not at the same time, obviously, but both. Something so peaceful, tranquil about just being on your own where nobody knows you're there. Some of my fondest memories from bike tours is the actual camping itself. You know, the cycling is great, you get to see loads, but the camping, you know, get visited in the night by animals, just lovely. I'm not going to go far today. I've already scouted out my camping spot and we are nearly there. This is a good spot. I'm not too far from home here. An hour is a good distance to be. An hour by foot, by bike, whatever. It's far enough away that you're not easily tempted to bail at the slightest thing, but not so far away that you can't get back if things go a bit pear-shaped. So I've actually checked out this location before. I don't think that I will get any visitors. It's pretty busy today though. And by visitors I mean drunken youths waking me up in the middle of the night. It's not ideal. Right, let's get straight to the main topic. About those murderers. Well, I guess I used to be a bit worried about those, but I had to rationalise and put it all into perspective. Because if you think about it, nobody should even know that I'm here. And if I pick my spot right, then if somebody actually did spot me, what are the chances of that person being some weirdo looking for a solo female camper, who are far and few between, to be fair. And let's face it, if someone sees some sort of camp, they're going to assume there's a bloke around somewhere, right? Because a woman would be way too scared to camp alone. So the more you think about it, the more you break it down, the more irrational the fear becomes. I've actually got a bit of a personal story about that. I once woke up in the middle of the night. I was bivvying in the porch of a tiny chapel in Germany, and I found 3 men approaching in the middle of the night. They were talking to each other and I was wondering what on earth was going on. Before they literally stumbled on me, I was like peeping, hello? And they were like, nicht stören, nicht stören, which in German means something like, oh, I do sincerely apologise for disturbing you. And then they just went about their business, which involved a laptop and walking around the tiny chapel. To this day, I have no idea what they were doing. But the moral of the story is that the vast majority of people are good, so let's not forget that. If the thought of going it alone to start with is way out of your comfort zone, then I would go with a friend, preferably one who's done it before. A word to the wise though, don't choose a friend who brings a scary mask to freak you out in the night, because it's not funny. It's just not funny. If it's dry, then make sure you get warm before you get cold. So the first thing we're going to do is put some clothes on. If it's wet, get the shelter set up first, then you can get changed as soon as you can. Make sure you know how to set the shelter up quick, sharp. Remember though, it doesn't need to be raining for you to get wet. If you're cycling, you're likely to have been sweating. Get out of all of your damp clothes as soon as possible. This goes for warm weather too. Dry is best. Pack your kit according to what you'll need first, and a tip for that is to visualize getting to camp and setting it all up. Write down the order that you need things and then pack in reverse order. Consider tagging your dry bags with what's in them. I still get it wrong in some way pretty much every time, so don't worry if you have to keep tweaking the setup. Now when you finish watching the episode to the end, which I'm sure that you will, let me know if there's something you fear that stops you from trying it that I haven't already mentioned, or if there's a great bit of advice that you've had that's worth sharing. Pop them in the comments below, please. As soon as you get to camp, get changed. Ta-da! You definitely want to be comfortable when you first start out. Anything else will likely put you off. Take the most comfortable and cozy kit that you can to start off with. This will likely be a tent or a bivvy and tarp, or as I have chosen today, a camping hammock. A tent might make you feel a bit more protected, whereas a bivvy and tarp is optional, but I recommend it. It can be a bit more discreet. I've used all three, but don't really use a tent anymore because it's as bulky as the hammock with all the accessories, and the hammock is easier to put up and it's just so comfortable. I like to get to my camping spot well ahead of sunset so that I can ensure that I set up well. Of course, many times I've pitched up in the dark, but that's generally when I'm on a ride and I'm trying to maximise riding time. And if you're on the ground, make sure you have a good sleeping mat. No, this is not my sleeping mat. It's just somewhere dry I can cook my dinner from. And somewhere to put my bags. It's quite comfy though. If you're wondering about packing, if in doubt, pack it. Overpack with warm clothes first few times you go. Make sure they're kept dry during your journey. Don't believe bag manufacturers who say their bags or dry bags are actually waterproof. And don't forget lights. A head torch is the least that you'll need. And a camp light is also useful because it lights up the hammock so beautifully in the night. Okay, let's see what it looks like when we walk away. As you can see, it's not actually that visible from afar. Obviously, the further away you get, the more invisible it becomes. You know, if I had camouflage tarp, whoa, you wouldn't even see me, man. If I had a bivvy and tarp lower to the ground or even a small tent, I'd be even less visible. But if you're still worried about axe murderers and the like, you might want to bring some kind of alarm or other tool if it will make you feel more secure. Now, if you do get caught and not attacked, as is the most likely scenario, they'll simply ask you to move on. Be polite and do as they ask, unless you can sweet talk them, of course. It's worth a try. This is the best part. Oh, I nearly forgot. Coziest part of it all. Now I'm going to be snug as a bug in a rug. So comfy. I do use both a bivvy and tarp and the hammock because They're useful for different situations. So a hammock is great for a tour, you know, if you're going setting up camp for the night and it's part of the journey, it's part of the experience. I'd be more likely to take a bivvy and tarp, or even just a bivvy, if I was doing a long ride where I needed to maximise the actual riding. But if I want to experience the camping as part of the journey, then you just can't get better than a hammock. I mean, look at it. Now that it's nearly dark, it's time to get some food. Food is a great way to pass the time and to realise how absolutely crap instant noodles are. You might want to make sure you bring something that doesn't rely on a stove, just in case you can't get it lit for some reason. Woo! Whoa! That, my friends, is a cinnamon bun coffee. Oh! Cheers! So what about after the food then? What will you do to keep occupied? Read a book perhaps, listen to audiobooks, chat to a friend over the phone, just enjoy nature. Oh, while we're on food related topics, let's talk about the bathroom situation. Spoiler alert, there isn't one. What shall I say? It's wherever you want it to be. Wee in the bushes, and if you have to do something else, bring a spade and leave no trace. I actually tried to plan to camp somewhere near a toilet, a pub or something like that. It's useful for either before you set up camp or in the morning once you've packed up and you've had your morning coffee. Oh, that's pretty good. So nobody wants to wake up to a badger peeing on their head or a fox chewing on their leg. So make sure that any food that might attract animals is kept away from the camp at night and preferably hung up off the ground in a bag that's not so easy to get into. As for dangerous animals here in the UK, we don't really have any. Fox might sniff your equipment and possibly even you if you happen to shuffle out from under your tarp. But as soon as you make a sound, they'll soon disappear. Wild boar now exist in a few parts of the UK, but even those would rather not have a confrontation. I know this for a fact. I once had a family of wild boar visit me in the night in Germany. I made as much noise as possible shuffling around in my hammock and they just didn't bother me. Needless to say, I was a little bit nervous. However, you might want to think about what you would do if you encountered a situation with an animal. Scream and run away perhaps. In that case, you might want to bring some comfy shoes. Or would you try to fend them off? If so, arm yourself with a stick. But trust me, you won't need either. But if it gives you comfort, then go for it. Researching this stuff also helps. You realise that you're much more likely to hurt yourself running off or hitting yourself in the face with a stick than you are by the actual animal. Mozzies, 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 spiders. If you don't want these bothering you in the night, you might want to get yourself a mozzie net. Don't worry too much if you don't sleep on your first night. It will get better each time. You just have to get used to the sounds, and there's always something new every time. And just try not to stress. Rationalise, rationalise, rationalise. And if you do hear something out there, don't immediately fear the worst. Listen, wait. Just kidding, it'll soon pass. Right, now that I've imparted my wisdom on all of you, I guess I should enjoy my evening, not ruin it by filming everything. And yeah, I'm going to get some sleep. And sleep well, everyone. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And do consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. We'll have lots of fun on future episodes, I promise you.